Let's go to the next one. We have a 8-note away minor 6. So the minor 6 is flattened. So on the major scale, it would be a 9-note away major 6. We flattened it as we would expect on a minor mode like the Phrygian mode. And so the 8-note away minor 6 would be the same interval construction if it was the main minor that we were building, like an E minor. That would also be an 8-note away minor 6. The only difference in the intervals from the Phrygian to the minor scale is that second. The Phrygian has a 1-note away minor second, the minor scale having a 2-note away major second still. All right, so this 6 represents that it's the 6th relative position in our scale. This 8 represents the distance in half steps, noting it's an even number. Therefore, in chord construction, we have to rename it because we skip all the evens. It's 1, 3, 5, 7. The 7 is the last note in the scale, and then we go to the 2. Then we go to the 9, which is equivalent to the 2, 11, which is equivalent to the 4, and 13, finally, which is equivalent to the 6. So we're looking for an 8-note away minor 6, which you could also call from a chord construction an 8-note away minor 13. Okay, so it's 8 notes away, so I can't go 8 notes forward, and therefore I'm going to go inverse distance, wrapping the string around in a circle in my mind, and say if I go one way, 8 notes, and there's only 12 notes distance, 12 minus 8 is going to be 4, so I can go 4 notes back, 1, 2, 3, 4, there it is. So if I'm on this E, then I can say it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 notes back to this C. So if I went from this C, whoops, is that right? Yeah, I got C to E, that would be a 4-note away, which would be a major third. If I went from the E to the C, therefore, that would be an 8-note away minor 6, remembering that the inverse of a minor is a major, the inverse of a major is a minor. So if I look at this major 6, we're going to recognize some of the shapes most likely because we recognize them as the inverse, which is possibly a more popular interval, right? The 4-note away major third. All right, so let's go above it and say if I go above it, I've got to look for the inverse distance. So let's find it first. Okay. And I'm going across the fault line. So we're going to say if it's an 8-note away minor 6 or 8-note away minor 13, then I have to look for the inverse distance to go above it. 12 minus 8 is 4. So I'm looking for a distance of 4. But I'm crossing the fault line. The distance between the strings is usually 5. But to get to that 5-note distance, you can also think the distance between these two strings happens to only be 4. So you can memorize it that way. I still count in 5s typically, so I usually say it's going to be 5 going this way and then 4, other than counting, because I want to go up strings counting in intervals of 5, because I can count by 5 more easily than counting 4 and then, so I go 5 and then 4. That's how I would do it. So I'm going to go up from here and say, okay, it would be 5 going back here and then 4. So if I went from top to bottom, C to E, that would be a 4-note away major third. Bottom to top, therefore, would be an 8-note away minor 6. So that means if I go up one string and cross the fault line, the 8-note away minor 6 would be on the same fret. But I wouldn't cross the fault line except on that place, right? So if I was over here, let's do it here, then it would be up here, right? That would mean that the root, see, this root got shifted forward because of the fault line. So if I wasn't on the fault line, the C would be up there, right? And if I was up on this continent, up top, same shape. And so you possibly recognize this shape as your normal shape going from C to E, which would be of a major third, 4-note away major third, right? And then the inverse, therefore, is an 8-note away minor 6, except for here, because of the distance. So typically then, if I go up one string, the 8-note away minor 6, which could also be called the 8-note away minor 13, will be 1 fret forward unless I cross the fault line, which only happens on the E string, in which case, if I go up one string and cross the fault line, the 8-note away minor 6 will be on the same fret. All right, so let's go up 2 strings then. Going up 2 strings. So we're going to go up to here. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets forward. So if I go up then 2 strings, let's count that out. I have to look for an 8th note away minor 6, which can also be called an 8th note away minor 13. Inverse distance, 12 minus 8 is a distance of 4. I have to diagonally count to 5 this way because of the fault line, and then 10 going straight up. So I'm going to call that negative 10, negative 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So there we have it. So if I counted it from here, it's going to be negative 5, negative 10, negative 10, negative 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So way up here. So we're on that C. All right, so if I went from this C to that E, that would be a 4-note away major third, and therefore if I went from the E to the C, that would be then an 8-note away minor 6. Therefore, if I go up 2 strings and cross the fault line, the 8-note away minor 6, which can also be called the 8-note away minor 13, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets forward. But I wouldn't cross the fault line if I was starting on the G or the D string, and I could still go up then 2 strings from there. Let's take a look at this E, for example, and then I go up 2 strings and I'd be out here. So now that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frets forward, which is about as far as you can reach. If I could go the other way, you would see that this is an equilateral triangle, right? We're right in the middle. It would be 6 this way and 6 back, because there's only 12 notes in the musical alphabet. So the rule is, if I go up 2 strings, the 8-note away minor 6 will be 6 frets forward and 6 frets back, unless I cross the fault line, which would happen on the B and the E string, in which case if I go up 2 strings and cross the fault line, I would typically want to go forward because it would be a lesser of a distance, and it would only be 5 frets forward in that case. Okay, so then let's go up another one. Let's go up to here. So now I'm going to go up to here. We're looking for an 8-note away minor 6, which could also be an 8-note away minor 13. I have to look for the inverse distance because I'm going above it. 12 minus 8 is 4. I'm going across the fault line, so I'm going to count 15 diagonally from here. I'm sorry, 5 diagonally. 5, negative 10, negative 15. There's only 12 notes in the musical alphabet, so I can say 12 minus 15 is 3. And so I'm going to say negative 3 and negative 4. Boom. Let's count it from here. So I'm going to say negative 5, negative 10, negative 15. 15 minus 12 is 3 and 4. So if I went from this C to that E, that would be then a 4-note away, which would be a major third. If I went from the bottom here to here, E to C, therefore, that would be an 8-note away minor 6. So that means that if I go up 3 strings, then the 8 and cross the fault line, the 8-note away minor 6 will be 2 frets back. The only time I wouldn't cross the fault line is if I started on this G, which would be above the G string, above the fault line. So if I was on this E and I went up 3 strings, then I would be right there. So the rule would be, if I go up 3 strings, the 8-note away minor 6, which could also be called the 8-note away minor 13, will be 1 fret back unless I cross the fault line, which would happen on the B or the E string. 2 out of the 3 possible strings I could use to go up 3 strings, in which case, if I go up 3 strings and cross the fault line, the 8-note away minor 6, which could also be called the 8-note away minor 13, will be 2 frets back. Okay, let's go to the top one, the top rope. We're going to the top rope. Watch yourself, because I got a lot of potential energy sitting up here on the top rope, man. They're not scared because I'm too skinny. You lucky, though. So I could still I could jump off the top rope really high, though, and then I get a lot of momentum, even though I'm relatively light. I still have potential energy up here. You better watch yourself. Anyways. So now we might go to the bottom string now and say if I should count it out on the bottom string because it'll match. That'll be easier. So I'm looking for an 8-note away minor 6. If I go to the string below it, I don't need to look for an inverse distance, but just a distance of 8. I'm not crossing the fault line, so it would be right underneath 5, 6, 7, 8. There's the C there, same C up top. If I counted it up top, it would be negative 5 going this way, negative 15, negative 10, negative 15. 15 minus 12 is 3. Negative 3 plus another 5 is 8. So So I'm going to say -8, -7, -6, -5, -4. Boom. I think I got that right. Let's count it out this way. -5, -10, -15. 15 minus 12 is -3, plus another 5 is -8, -8, -7, -6, -5, -4. Boom. So if I went from this C to this E, that would be then a 4 note away major third. If I went from the bottom to the top, that would be an 8 note away minor 6, and therefore if I go up 4 strings, the 8 note away minor 6 would be 4 frets, 3 frets forward. I would always cross the fault line unless I think about going around the top of the guitar. So therefore, I don't really have to say I cross the fault line. If I go up 4 strings or down 4 strings, and I'm not thinking about going around the top of the guitar or the bottom of the guitar, then I have to cross the fault line, and therefore the distance will always be the same. So if I go up 4 strings, I'll always cross the fault line, and therefore the 8 note away minor 6, which could also be called the 8 note away minor 13, will always be 4 frets forward. Okay, if I go below it then, which we already took a look at briefly, looking at the 8 note away minor 6 below it, I don't need to look for the inverse distance. I just look for 8 notes instead of 4 notes, and I don't need to do a diagonal movement because I'm on the same continent, so I'm just going to go down 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom. So if I count it out here, 5, 6, 7, 8, boom, top to bottom would be an 8 note away minor 6, and therefore from bottom to top would also be a 4 note away major third. Therefore, if I go down 1 string, the 8 note away minor 6, which could also be called the 8 note away minor 13, will be 3 frets forward unless I cross the fault line, which would only happen on the G string. And if I was on the G string, then going down 1 would be up here. It's just out of, let's go up a bit. I can see it right there. Boom. So it would be out here. So the rule is if I go down 1 string, the 8 note away minor 6, which could also be called the 8 note away minor 13, will be 3 frets forward unless I cross the fault line, which happens on the G string, in which case if I go down 1 string and cross the fault line, the 8 note away minor 6, which could also be called the 8 note away minor 13, will be 1, 2, 3, 4 frets forward. All right, let's do one more. I'm going to try to squeeze in this last one.